Welcome, time travelers. Before we dive into our historical journey, we must thank the ones who make this time travel possible. Today's episode is brought to you by Men Shop Here. They offer a diverse range of men's watches and accessories that are both stylish and high quality. Whether you're a classic gentleman or a modern trendsetter, they've got you covered. So, where do men shop? They shop at menshophere.com.now. Buckle up for a journey back in time. Imagine a time when justice took a form that might appear harsh, cruel, or even bizarre to us today. A time when the law wasn't just about retribution or rehabilitation, but also about public spectacle and deterrence. We're talking about ancient punishments, a chilling testament to human ingenuity in the realm of retribution. From the dawn of civilization, societies needed ways to maintain order and control, and so they devised punishments. Some of which were gruesome and brutal, others were outright strange. These punishments were more than just a response to crime. They reflected the values, beliefs and fears of their societies. They were tools of power, control, and often a form of entertainment for the masses. In the following segments, we're going to delve into this macabre history, into a world where justice was served with a side of spectacle and fear. Stay with us as we unveil the 10 most brutal and shocking ancient punishments. Let's dive right into the first 3 ancient punishments that will make your blood run cold. Our first stop is ancient Rome, where they had a rather unique punishment for patricide, the act of killing one's father. This was known as poena culae. The guilty party was sewn into a leather sack with a variety of animals, typically a dog, a rooster, a viper, and a monkey, then thrown into a body of water. The idea was to symbolize the chaotic and unnatural act of patricide with a chaotic mixture of animals. Next, we travel to ancient China, where they practiced a form of punishment known as ling qi, translated as death by 1,000 cuts. This was a slow and torturous execution method, where the condemned person was gradually dismembered. The process could take hours, and was intended not only as a punishment for the individual, but also as a deterrent to others. Our third stop takes us to the Middle Ages in Europe. Here we find the breaking wheel, or the Catherine wheel. This was a large wooden wheel with spokes. The condemned person was tied to the wheel, and then a hammer or an iron bar was used to deliver bone-shattering blows to their body. The wheel was then hoisted into the air for birds to peck at the remains. This punishment was particularly gruesome and was used for serious crimes such as murder. These punishments, while horrifying to us now, were all too real for the people of the past. They serve as a stark reminder of how far we've come in terms of human rights and justice. Intrigued? Well, the journey has just begun. Brace yourselves as we explore the next set of ancient punishments. Firstly, let's journey back to the Roman Empire, a civilization known for its groundbreaking architecture, influential government, and of course its brutal forms of punishment. One such method was the poena culae, a sentence reserved for those guilty of parricide, the act of killing a parent or close relative. The offender would be sewn into a sack with a variety of animals, including a dog, a rooster, a viper, and a monkey, then cast into the sea or river. This was seen as a fittingly chaotic end for such a heinous crime. Next, we venture east to the Qing dynasty of China, where we encounter the ling qi, often referred to in the West as death by 1,000 cuts. This method involved the convicted being tied to a wooden frame and then methodically sliced piece by piece. The goal was not simply to kill, but to prolong the process, a grim reflection of the crime committed. Lastly, let's tread lightly into the heart of the Middle Ages in Europe, where the Judas cradle was used. This disturbing device was shaped like a pyramid, and the offender would be placed atop it, with the tip pointed. Well, let's just say it was a rather uncomfortable position. The torturers had control over the speed and depth of the descent, making this a slow and agonizing form of punishment. These punishments, from the poena culae of Rome to the ling qi of China to the Judas cradle of medieval Europe, remind us of the darker aspects of human history. They highlight the lengths societies have gone to in order to enforce their laws and maintain order, often veering into the realm of the horrific. The past indeed held some gruesome realities, didn't it? It's a stark contrast to today's world, where such brutal forms of punishment are largely seen as inhumane. As we continue to journey through time, let's remember the progress we've made and the lessons we've learned from these harsh realities of the past. As we delve deeper into our historical journey, the punishments get even more brutal. Now let's turn our gaze to ancient China, where we find the seventh punishment on our list, lingqi, or the slow process, also known as death by 1,000 cuts. This grisly form of capital punishment involved the convicted person being slowly dismembered, the ordeal sometimes lasting for hours. Lingqi was reserved for crimes considered particularly heinous, such as treason or parricide, and was used as a method of social control, instilling fear in the populace. Moving westward to ancient Greece, we discover the eighth punishment, pharmakos. In this ritual, a human scapegoat was chosen during times of disaster or crisis. The pharmakos was often a slave, a cripple, or a criminal. The chosen person was fed, kept at public expense, and then driven out of the city, or even killed. This was believed to serve as a purification ritual for the city, a means of warding off further calamity by appeasing the gods. The concept behind pharmakos is a disturbing one, the idea that a society can cleanse itself of its sins or problems by expelling or sacrificing a single individual. It's a chilling echo of the blame games we still see today, where the vulnerable are often made to bear the brunt of societal ills. These punishments, lingqi and pharmakos, are stark reminders of just how brutal human societies could be in the name of justice or religious observance. They underline the lengths to which our ancestors went to maintain order, control, and appease divine entities. These punishments may seem unbelievable, but history has many such harsh truths. Now brace yourselves as we continue our journey, exploring even more brutal punishments from the annals of history in our next segment. As we reach the end of our journey, we present to you the final two ancient punishments. First off, we delve into the ancient Egyptian practice of the weighing of the heart. In their belief of life after death, the Egyptians held that the heart of the deceased was weighed against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth. If the heart was found heavier, it indicated that the person had led a life full of sins. The heart was then devoured by Amit, a fearsome beast, effectively ending the person's chance of an afterlife. Next, we travel to the Roman Empire, where the punishment of damnatio ad bestias was prevalent. This translates to condemnation to beasts, and it was as horrific as it sounds. Criminals were thrown into arenas to face wild animals as a form of public spectacle. This brutal practice was not only a punishment, but also served as a chilling display of Roman power and authority. These punishments may seem brutal to us today, but they provide a fascinating insight into the cultures and societies of the ancient world. They remind us of the evolution of justice and the importance of human rights in our modern world. With that, we conclude our journey into the harsh realities of ancient justice. Remember, history is a great teacher, and by understanding our past, we can strive to create a better future. We have traveled through time, unveiling the brutal punishments of the past. We've seen how mankind has evolved, not just in technology or in culture, but in the way we treat each other. History is a mirror, reflecting both our triumphs and our follies. It's a tapestry woven with threads of progress and regression, justice and injustice, mercy and cruelty. It serves as a reminder, a guide, and a warning all at once. Our journey through the ancient world of punishments has underscored the importance of compassion, of understanding, and of progress. We've come so far, and yet, there's so much more to learn, to understand, to improve upon. Every chapter of history shapes our present and guides our future. It's a never-ending story, and we're all a part of it. If you enjoyed this journey and want to continue traveling through time, remember to subscribe and like Time Travelers. Until next time, keep exploring.